Hello everyone, this is Khatt Chronicles. My name is Roshanak Keyghobadi and I have with me today Iranian brand designer and design director Mitra Shahsavand. Mitra was born in Tehran. She graduated from the College of Fine Arts at Tehran University with her graphic design degree and then moved to London to study typographic design and graphic communication at the London College of Communication. Later, she graduated from the University of Leicester with a degree in mass communication and media studies. Mitra started her professional branding experience more than 2 decades ago in London, and since then has worked on many design projects for international brands. In 2015, she founded Mitra Shahsavand Brand Design Boutique in Tehran, and today she's leading a group of designers, copywriters, motion and 3D specialists, and works on large-scale branding projects. Mitra's approach towards design and passion for sharing stories have helped her to translate brand strategies into brand stories, where the entire design and copy concept originates from the heart of those narratives. In recent years, Mitra has lectured at College of Fine Arts at Tehran University and Vision School of Visual Communications. She has been a guest speaker at events such as TEDx Tehran, the Iranian Designers Conference, and AD Talks. She has been a member of the jury panel at New York festivals, Cresta, Getty, and One Club for Creativity. Her work has been awarded in New York festivals and World Brand Design Society Agency. Mitra Shahsavand lives and works in Tehran. Hi, dear Mitra.
Hi there.
I'm so glad that you're here, Mitra.
I'm so glad I'm here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Can you please tell us about your journey as a brand designer? When and why did you decide to become a brand designer?
Yes, I think for everyone it starts from childhood. And I think in the early years, my parents had a great influence. They were not artists, but both had very creative minds. My dad used to write stories about me. Instead of reading stories from a book, he used to write stories about me and he would paint it himself. And for me, it was so magical. I still have one of those booklets. And my mom, from the other side, because I used to get bored with my toys, and she found a way one day. She grabbed a pair of scissors and cut out some pictures from a magazine. And she showed me how I can play with them. And suddenly I realized that I can have anything. There was a whole new world, and I can access to any character, tool, or interior for my plays. And I started creating different stories. Like there was a huge scene. The scene was as big as the whole house. And I would put these characters together. Like I had a garden, I had a, I don't know, shops, alleys, you name it. I could have anything. Anything I needed to create a new story, you see. And I learned how to create stories from that time. That's why today I'm a storyteller for brands. And I really can't ignore what my mom and dad's efforts into creating a passion inside my young mind. Despite all this passion for creativity and design and storytelling, I chose to study science in high school. In fact, my parents chose it for me because they thought because they were worried that when I'm 18, I might I might have a change of heart, and they wanted to be safe because if I studied science, I could further my education in art or science or anything. But if I studied art in high school, I could only carry on studying art. This is the way it is in Tehran, in Iran. So when I had my diploma, I started to have my doubts. And, when I was a child, I was always fascinated with the pictures I saw in the magazines. And when I asked my parents who created them, they would say, well, some people, some painters, some designers would create this. And I wouldn't believe them. And I said, no, these might have been there forever. Nobody created them. Nobody could be too good to create these things. So I didn't believe it. Now I got to a point that I could choose to be one of those people, those magical works I could do. So I was so excited. So I changed my direction. I went to Tehran University and studied graphic design. I was working in a magazine, I remember, while I was studying for my bachelor. When I finished the university, I went to London to further my education. This is my story with graphic design.
That's fascinating. Was there any key turning points in your career that made you who you are today?
Key turning points. Yes, there was. Actually, there was like three. The first one was when I was a student studying graphic design, there was like a very well-known writer and very famous writer in Iran called Nader Ebrahimi. And I was a student, and he chose me to illustrate one of his children's books. I was only a student, like many professional illustrators were competing to grab their hands on one of his books. So the story was about a little village where sparrows would come to build their nests and take care of their eggs, but a storm destroys their nests, and an old man comes to the rescue and glues their nests together. I decided to actually use eggshells and create a mosaic art using hundreds of little pieces of eggshells. Painted them and glued them to the paper. He believed in me. I felt like I have superpower, and I boosted my self-confidence. I started to take myself more seriously. It was like magic. So it was the first time somebody took me for a professional designer, and I could never thank enough for what he gave me at that very young age. The second one is actually when I started studying media and communication for my postgraduate certificate. During those studies, I realized whatever we believe in and we do is because somewhere somebody wanted us to behave in a certain way and taught us in a way to do what they wanted us to do. So it created a storm in my mind. For a while, I was like going crazy that, oh, well, so whatever my parents taught me was because they wanted to have a better life, whatever in school I was taught. And all of this changed me as a person. And because I work in communication myself, it made me a more conscious person while transmitting messages to other people. I'm very careful about that. So this was the second turning point. The third one was, well, prior to starting my own business, I was working in an advertising agency with a safe and good income. And one day I simply decided I want to have my own business. I didn't have enough savings. And by quitting my job, I wasn't even sure how long I can survive on my own. I had one of those fearless moments when I just had to jump in the deep. I started working from home, and before 6 months, I was working in my own office and had 2 employees. So these three very important moments of my career life.
Those are wonderful. So, what is the project that you're most proud of?
I guess it's My Lady. My Lady is a sanitary pad, a brand in Iran. And I started working with them like 5 years ago. Since the product was very well known and very successful, they had their doubts on how to update the product image, whether to do the branding or not to do the branding. We did it in 2 phases over 5 years. What we did for normalizing the period during these 5 years is a milestone. We created really nice designs, and consumers keep telling us the packaging make their experience a little nicer. That's all we wanted, to make it a little nicer. So creating change always makes me proud. I am actually the proudest with My Lady. We were shortlisted for the first phase in some awards and won the Agency Silver Award from the World Brand Design Society. And today, after 5 years of hard work, I'm proud to say My Lady is the market leader for sanitary pads in Iran. It's the number one sanitary pad, and I couldn't ask for a better price.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What is the project that you most enjoyed doing?
I think it should be My Lady again. But to be honest with you, all the design projects that ever do, or I'm ever part of, I really enjoy them. I usually tell my clients, you wouldn't be paying me if you knew how much I enjoy doing your work. But if I want to pick one, it will certainly be My Lady.
Well, that's great. Probably it's the same answer. I was gonna say, what is the project that you feel that got you the most recognition for?
It's My Lady also, but there is another project which I had my first round of recognition, international recognition for. It was a hair care product called Z. We received 2 bronze awards from New York festivals and Getty for it. The point was the fact that I had to promote hair care products without showing women's hair. That was so difficult. Like, you promote a shampoo, you want to show beautiful flowing in the hair, but you can't do it. So what do I do? So, when I do branding projects, I usually tell a story about the brand. It's not the brand story that the marketing team writes. It's my own thing. I think I kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm the first person who's doing this, maybe not, I don't know. But I started doing it myself. I realized I need something to glue all the marketing and design team together. So it's like 10 years that I started doing this, and with each brand, it becomes more complete. And for example, for these Z products, first of all, I want to tell you that this story has everything in it. When I receive a brief when I receive the brand strategy, I start thinking about what this brand, well, the project is going to be 1 to 2 years, okay? But right from the beginning, I must know something in my head that how this brand is going to sound like, how it's going to look like, how it's going to behave. So what I do is, from the brand strategy, I create a story. The story is emotional. It connects all the people working in the project emotionally. And for Zimui, for example, it's called Zimui, actually, the shampoo called Zimui. Mui in Farsi means hair, but in a very old, Shakespearean kind of way of saying it. For Z, I had this story about a lonely king who falls in love with a fairy who changes into a different animal every single time he meets her. The point is that from the strategy, I had this point that women are beautiful. Women's hair are beautiful, whatever it looks like. If it's dark, if it's light, if it's curly, if it's straight, it's beautiful. So I showed the beauty of a woman in different animals that she turns into. And I used those animals to create the campaign. I use a mix of animals like peacock's feathers on the back of a head of a woman who had covered her hair. So it looks like hair. And it was so fascinating, actually, for myself, actually, and for the client and the others. So I had gained a lot of recognition for it, yeah, internationally.
That's a wonderful solution to a difficult problem. Why do you think that what you do is important?
What I do is important. Of course, it's important. I mean, what everybody does is important. That's what I believe. But what we do for brands in the first place helps economy. When a brand is huge, it can even help the economy of a country. And in the second place, we are helping to develop culture, to create a culture by the things that we ask the brand to do. It's not only the brands we create, it's what they have to offer that they have to say. So I think it's very important to create brands because they have a huge platform. Brands have a huge platform, and this is how we can transmit the messages to the public. That's what I think is very important.
Mitra, what would you like to be your legacy? How would you like to be remembered?
Am I that old now that I have to think about my legacy? I like to be remembered as a person who brought about change in some way, a person who swam against the current, and hopefully a role model for the next generation. That's what I'm hoping. Not there yet.
So let's look into the future. What do you imagine will be important in brand design in coming 10 or 20 years from now on?
This is a very difficult question. You see, I used to think about these questions and I used to ask them about from other people, but the truth is we have no idea. We just anticipate. But you see, things can change in a moment nowadays. In a simple moment, you go a total different direction. Many creatives talking about AI and if we are going to be exist we are going to exist as designers in 10, 20 years. We just don't know that. So far, I think the AI cannot, so far with what we've seen, I don't think it can take the place of the humans because what it creates, first of all, it uses what humans create. And if it stop creating, it will become old, you see. And secondly, I think it's not as clever as humans are. That's what I think. It's not that clever. Maybe in future it is. We used AI for some packaging project that we had. We needed to create like some oil paintings of 8 different 19th century women. It's cheaper. If I want to give it to a painter to paint, it's a lot more expensive than giving it to AI, and AI saves time. But I think it's a mix of both of them that will work. You see, nowadays, what I see, people are looking for meaning in their lives. And how we can create that meaning through our work maybe is what we can see in the 10 to 20 years. I think people are hungrier than ever for meaning, something that gives meaning to their lives, the truth. They want the truth and they are tired of what social media is giving them. We don't know what direction they may take because the technology is there, but people are there as well. And before people are interested into something, that won't succeed. We need more social responsibility, videos and images. The younger generations nowadays are looking for more authentic brands. They want to relate to brands they can trust and find genuine meaning in the way they communicate to them. So I think many brands are moving towards more responsible and sustainable relationship with their audience. But I think for the future, messages need to be very short and very creative. I think the most important element in future is time, whatever saves you time and makes you happier, I think.
My next question is really like very related to my personal interests. I just wanted to see, how do you see the position of Iranian women in graphic design, in history of graphic design in Iran and globally?
Well, I have to say, Iranian designers are working really hard, and we are in a much better place than we were 5 or 10 years ago. In my early years, female designers weren't taken seriously. We were working tirelessly and quietly, but there was a game, and we weren't part of it. In the judging panels for awards and ceremonies, you didn't see women. In TV talks, we weren't invited. In universities, only few women were working as faculty members. Even when talking about design history, somehow female names would vanish. If you wanted to name the best designers in the field, you hardly mentioned them. single female designer. This is about my early years. There was a common belief that women are not good for top management positions. In my personal experience, it made me think this is normal. I actually believe there is no point for me to step in. Am I good or strong or knowledgeable enough? As a result of this mindset, many of us became less vocal about what we are doing. The quieter we became, the easier it was to deny our presence. But some of us tried hard to push forward. And let's not forget those male colleagues who helped us to push through. Not so long ago, a history book was published to introduce the best designers of the recent century in Iran. Many of our best female designers were missing in the book. In fact, there was only 4 or 5 women in the list. Women designers took action by creating an Instagram page called Iranian Women of Graphic Design and introduced hundreds of brilliant works, all done by female graphic designers. In 2019, I had the opportunity to express my frustration in my work. I was appointed by Iranian Graphic Design Society to design a visual system for the World Design Day. The theme introduced by ICOD was Women in Design. My approach showed exactly how I felt through the years. Women in design are hardly visible. I designed a system based on parallel lines which made reading difficult. And behind those lines, I put my messages. The viewers needed to narrow their eyes and pay attention to what was going on behind those lines. Even the trophies given to 3 senior women designers followed this pattern, and their names were hidden behind long parallel lines. Today, I can confidently say that we have a voice. I think women are present in all talks and judging panels and exhibitions globally, actually. However, we are working hard to make sure the next generation would have an easier experience than ours.
It's wonderful. So maybe we can end with a personal note. What do you do in your leisure time?
Currently, I don't have a leisure time. Well, I have been looking after my mom, who has been really unwell for the past 4 to 5 years. My time is divided between her and my work. But if I manage to have free time, I'm very interested in self-awareness books and classes. I think it helps my work too. If I know myself really well, I can be more creative in a way. I love to watch masterclass sessions. Love to watch good series like I don't know, Succession. I love that, and love to play tennis if I have time. Listening to podcasts and socializing with friends. That's all really. Nothing really exciting.
They're exciting. I find them really exciting. Mitra, any final words or advice?
If I am in a position to give advice, I genuinely believe creativity is planted in every single human being. The main source of creation is the awareness about one's true self. Then comes the practice and having the courage to make mistakes and learning from them. Sometimes young creatives need a push from a senior. It's so important to support them and help them to gain confidence and to cross the barrier of fear. I always tell my younger colleagues that they need to have a focus point. Just like when you are practicing yoga balancing poses, if you have a spot to look at, you never lose balance. That spot is your vision. Know where it is, keep looking at it, and move forward. And don't forget to enjoy the road. Sometimes the road is much more exciting than the destination.
Thank you so much, Mitra. It was a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you for having me.
I hope that we will have these conversations more often.
Yes, same here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Cheers.